Hi, folks. John Hecker here again, the pro at Brookley Country Club in Rochester, New York. Today we're going to talk about iron play. Probably the thing that I see the most is people tend to hit the ground and then the ball with their irons, a very common flaw. When you do that, obviously the ground slows up the club into the hit, and you're hitting actually part of the ball with part of the turf behind it, and the ball doesn't go very far. So we're going to watch Michelle Wie and Rory McIlroy hit their shots here from our face-on view. I do want to emphasize one thing that we won't be able to see here on the down the line is they're not chopping into the ground. They're trying to take a divot that while you'll see some turf fly, they're not just creating a very steep angle and driving the club into the ground where they'll actually limit their follow through. They're taking a divot that's going pretty much at their target and a maybe an inch deep divot, not much more than that. So we're going to start with Rory McIlroy on the left here. Now I have outlined his hips, his head, and his shaft. And what we're going to look at here is see what helps create the ball being hit first and then the ground second, what he might be doing to create that. So I'm going to take you through his backswing here and see if we can't get a good view of maybe what he's doing. Now Rory McIlroy, if you've ever had the fortune of watching him hit, he hits the ball great. The ball sounds just terrific when he hits it off the face. So his backswing, his hips have kind of maintained, let's say, that turning in the barrel thought that people have. That's only true for the backswing. And his head has stayed in the same position. Now the things that we're going to notice at impact is, hey, what is he doing different? So again, he's not beating the club into the ground. He's taking a nice skinny divot. But at impact, what do we see here that's different? That he doesn't address. Okay, what I see is his head's pretty much in the same spot. I think that's hard to argue that that's changed. The thing that I would like to point out to you is his right hip is definitely moved to the right. Looks like a good 6 inches, and that puts a lot more pressure on your left leg, and that also moves the shaft in front of its starting position, so his hands are more forward, and that helps you hit the ball in the ground. His right hip will actually move at the end of the swing where his left hip started. So you can see the hips move aggressively onto the front foot. And then after he struck the ball, his head will move forward. You can move your head forward earlier, but that'll create a pretty steep angle into the ground, and you'll tend to take a deeper divot, and you'll mishit the ball somewhat. It'll cause a little bit of an awkward impact position. Now, Michelle Wie on the right is just an awesome ball striker. If you ever get a chance to watch her hit the ball on the range or go out and watch her play in a tournament, it's unbelievable. So I've done the same thing, kind of covered how her hips work and her head works. Now she'll come into the ball and voila, we'll see pretty much the same thing. So his right hip moves forward. So on the backswing, the hips sort of stay within as they turned at the barrel, but the head stays in sort of the same spot. But clearly that's not happening as you're coming through. So now she gets into the hitting area, and the shaft leans forward to where it started. Her right hip, again, has worked well forward. It's almost up to the ball at this point, which would be a good thing to practice on, is trying to get your right hip to the ball at impact. And then after she finishes her swing, her right hip, again, is kind of gone in the position where her left hip was. So if you're having trouble making good contact with the ball, trying to hit the ball in the ground, give these couple things a try. Try to get your right hip up near the ball while keeping your head fairly steady. And while you're doing that, you're going to increase some weight into your left leg, and you'll be able to hit the ball in the ground. A great exercise is just to take a practice swing just inside of where the ball is and see where your club's hitting the ground versus the ball. So some practice swings, some understanding here, and I think you're going to clean up your impact, hit some solider shots, and shoot some lower scores. Look forward to seeing you out in the course soon.